Welcome to Season 5 of Model Airport Reviews, the series in which I review your model airports. In this season, consisting of 12 episodes, I will review about 170 airports and choose 32 grand finalists, 16 of which will compete in a live grand finale, somewhere in September. For this season, I have some fun badges and graphics. Like the editor's pick, which is my favorite airport of the episode. The most realistic badge for the most realistic airport. The most creative badge for the most creative or original airport. And the best lighting badge for the airport with the best lighting, of course. And also you will sometimes see some propeller aircraft fly through the screen. Today I will review 12 airports. One of which I will pick as a grand finalist and two of which you can choose in the comments down below with the most liked comments progressing to the grand finale. Let's get started. This season starts in the USA with Sedona Bellrock International Airport in Arizona. This 1-400 scale airport consists of a tiny 3D printed terminal with 4 aircraft stands and some nice looking desert scenery with 3D printed cacti. There is a nice attention to detail on this airport as he has cones and I see some small cracks in the concrete ground. He's got a nice variety of US airlines on his airport and I really like this shot of this Boeing 737 MAX with the Arizona scenery in the foreground. Here is Pitt Mountain International Airport located in Denver, Colorado, the USA. The airport is fully made out of household items, primarily paper. And I think he has done an awesome job on adding detail to his airport. The landing aircraft has tire smoke coming off of it upon touchdown, and I like these small Lego blocks that resemble lights. He added some red and white blast fences in between the aircraft stands, and he has a bunch of paper folded ground service equipment. I like how he added the United Airlines logo to this hangar. Overall, a pretty decent airport considering it's built fully out of household material. We stay in the USA and go to Minneapolis where we have Minneapolis International Airport. This 1-400 scale airport consists of several remote stands and a runway. Around each aircraft he has got a bunch of ground service equipment which really adds realism and life to his airport. To make your airport even more realistic, you could consider adding light poles in between all of the aircraft stands. You can add weathering along the taxiway lines of the rubber aircraft tires. And on the modeling grass around the runway, you can add some tiny plants and bushes. And a windsock, which indicates the direction and strength of the wind. A fun fact about this airport is that he has a purple background. The reason for this is that he uses it as a green screen. He can therefore make the airport either European, American, Asian, cargo or passenger, whatever he wants, by simply changing the background. Here is Redland Cliff International Airport in a fictional country called Redland Island. It's a large 1-400 scale airport, featuring a big terminal and a few remote stands. I like how he added black weathering along the touchdown zone of the runways of the rubber tire marks, though it could be a bit excessive. I like how he added these light poles himself. Really easy, but they do the job. The terminal is fully made out of wood and it looks cool. My tip is you could place something on the roof, like solar panels or some texture to make it better than this plain white plank. Though overall I think you have a decent little airport. We're going up north to Canada to Landon International Airport. Once again an airport fully made out of paper. And I think there is plenty to add here. Starting with modeling grass in between the runway and taxiways. Also for you, light poles in between the aircraft stands. A control tower on top of the terminal. Though what I really like is the background that he added to his airport of a city skyline. Also, I have seen a bunch of submissions already that feature this plain white paper surface. In real life, I have never seen an airport which has a plain white surface, except for the ones in Antarctica and the Arctic Circle. So for me, it's really a requirement to have some sort of asphalt, concrete, black or gray surface. Or grass if you have a grass airport. Be sure to consider adding this to your airport as well. Next we go to the beach, to Newport Beach International Airport in Orange County, California. And it is incredible how much detail he has added to this airport on the beach. Runway lights, the complete set of markings on the taxiways and the runway. All of these tiny buildings and a terminal building. Jet bridges made out of Legos. Actual poppy lights on the side of the runway. And a terminal access road for people to access the terminal by car. This definitely gets the most creative badge from me for this episode. And I adore the originality and creativity on this airport. Which really brings up the question, is this finale worthy? Be sure to comment that down below, because I really much like how he created this airport. Thank you for sending it in. Moving on, we go to Richmond International Airport in Richmond, the USA. I really like this airport layout with a full runway and a tiny part of runway 16. Multiple taxiways and quite a big terminal, with place for this retro US Air aircraft. Around the runway he has got loads of detail. Smoke coming off the aircraft tires up on touchdown again, taxiway signs, an ILS box up here, and some neat looking markings. I really like the retro style he has added to his airport, featuring all of the OG aircraft and airlines. And honestly, I don't know what advice to give, what he should add, because he has a very complete looking airport to me. We're still staying in the United States, though we go east to New York to SBTI Model Airport. It features a runway with LED lights which light up at night, and a terminal with 5 gates. And my advice for you is to work neatly. And that goes for the modeling grass, as it are some tiny pieces stuck together. It would have looked much better if you just had one big piece and stuck it down. And also for the taxiway line, I think it could have been done much neater, as the outline is a bit chaotic right now. We move out of the United States to Indonesia, where we have Devantara International Airport located in Jakarta. The airport is based on a paper surface and features a Lego terminal. And this is what I meant with adding a grey or black surface. Using a pencil he created the concrete, and with some black he added some asphalt patches, which is really neat to see. Also, the yellow taxiway lines look really neat, and actually that goes for all of the other markings as well. He's already got a few ground surface equipment on his airport, like these air stairs, though I think if you invest in a bit more, your airport will look even more realistic. An awesome website where you can download paper printed ground service equipment is littlemodelairport.com. Not only can you download ground service equipment here, but also fold your own paper aircraft. So be sure to take a look, I will put a link in the description. Next we go to London to King's Cross St Pancras International Airport, which is based on the real-life London Heathrow Airport. He's got a terminal with 4 aircraft stands and a runway. I love how he displayed this Concorde, and also placed the Big Ben next to his airport. There is a nice amount of detail on this airport. For example, these taxiway signs guide the aircraft the way on the ground. And also this paper-built terminal looks really cool in my opinion. A fine detail is that he added branding on the jet bridges. The airport seems to be in his living room. The one way to make it even more realistic, at least on the images, is by adding a background of, for example, London Heathrow, the London skyline, or an English landscape. But overall, he has done an awesome job. We stay in the UK and go to Birmingham, where we have Birmingham East Airport. A single runway airport with once again a paper folded terminal. I really like the detail that he added with the scenery, like this advertisement board and these green road signs. And also he nicely photoshopped this Mascargo 747 actually flying and coming into land. He also submitted this image of this Aeroflot crash, as it overran the runway. The only thing I find interesting is how these buses and air stairs got onto the grass. Also for this airport counts that he could add a background to it. Though for the rest, I don't have much more advice to give to this model airport. The second to last airport is Tallinn International Airport in Munich, Germany. This 1 to 200 scale airport only features wide-body aircraft. In terms of ground markings, he has done a nice job. What I find interesting as well is the amount of space in between the aircraft stands and the runway. It seems to be one big taxiway. Though wasn't there another option? which would have allowed you to add more aircraft to your airport and makes better use of all this space. Furthermore, there is some ground service equipment around this Airbus A380, and I like all of the tiny cones as well. Though if you take a look at this image, there is almost no GSC visible. So also for you, I would advise you to invest in some ground service equipment. And the final airport of this episode is Kingston International Airport, located in the UAE. It's a 1 to 500 scale model airport, and I really much like how he neatly added these ground markings. Both on the runway the markings look really neat, and also the taxiways look fantastic. I like how he used a different color for the taxiways and a darker color around the modeling grass. And he nicely used these tiny patches of modeling grass for an ILS box and puppy lights. Taking a closer look at the terminal and the gates, we see once again really neatly done markings. And also some weathering, which I love to see. And when we then zoom into the aircraft, we see that they are actually made out of paper, just like all of the ground service equipment. Also on the taxiway there are several paper folded aircraft, which he folded really nicely in my opinion. He's also got a tiny cargo section with some scenery around it and a paper folded Airbus Beluga. Overall, I think he has a lovely, detailed and neat model airport. And for me, it earns the badges most realistic and editor's pick. This airport deserves a spot in the grand finale. So congratulations to you, Kingston International. And with that, we also come to the end of the first episode of Season 5 Model Airport Reviews. It's your job now to choose 2 model airports which also deserve a spot in the grand finale. Comment down below which 2 you think deserve a spot in there, and the 2 most liked commented airports will progress to the grand finale as well. So comment it down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the second episode of Model Airport Reviews Season 5.